know your thoughts on the Coming to America movie.
I loved it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was fun for a Saturday morning distraction. I didn't go into it thinking like, ooh, I'm gonna care about the plot. It's a comedy. It was a light, fun movie back then. They kept it a light, fun movie now. It had a little bit of a message, but it didn't really hit you over the head with it. It was just jokes and good times.
I think I want more from my comedies. I don't want to like go to the point where, oh, well, if you turn your brain off, you'll like it. Like, I just thought that, yes, I enjoyed the nostalgia. I love seeing Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall's characters, but that movie was all over the place. It was a crash landing ending. Garcelle said nothing, had no lines with less than 3 minutes of screen time. And you saw how much she was promoting that movie. Oh, I gotta take a flight. I gotta take a flight.
For what? To shoot 2 scenes?
Exactly. I also think that the lead male actor, the Prince, he was very annoying. I thought he reminded me of that DC Young Fly character. Like he just seemed like a minstrel show character or something. I just thought he was just below the movie. That's all, beneath the movie. And lastly, I think the plot should have really involved the daughters. I thought that was the more interesting story about her becoming queen, with these like backwards rules of Zamunda. I thought that would have been like the better story in the 2020s.
Then quote unquote ghetto baby mamas.
Exactly, but Leslie Jones, I keep wanting to say Leslie Jordan. Leslie Jones was so funny. I enjoyed her. You have too many like loud comedians in there. Like you have Tracy Morgan, you have Lunel, you have Leslie Jones. All you need is Leslie Jones.
They didn't even use Lunel.
A little bit. I mean, she got more speaking lines than Garcelle.
True. I will say, like, they barely used Tracy Morgan. Everybody was kind of propping up the star, I guess, that wasn't Eddie Murphy. But I also feel like we need somebody who's not going to try to outshine Eddie Murphy so that he can be funny. Quiet as is kept, Arsenio stole the show. Arsenio was the funniest. Arsenio is still got it. Eddie, you were okay, but Arsenio brought his A game.
Yeah, especially with that preacher, with the darkness of the Lord. Like, I love him. The barbershop scenes were really funny. Like, I started out laughing, I was happy, but it just started to get really slapstick, and it's just not going to be memorable. Like the first one was a classic. Like, if you don't go in with the mindset of it being a classic like the first one, maybe you'll enjoy it. I mean, I was entertained. That's why I gave it like a C. I gave like a C minus. Like it did what it was a money grab, basically. I wouldn't see it again. Would you?
I feel like it's something you put on, like maybe during the holidays when you're baking cookies and you're not watching it. And it's like, okay, we'll throw on the second one after the first one, because you're already 3 glasses of wine in, people are coming over, and it's just on where it's like you'll catch a scene and get a giggle, but it's not like you're not going to watch it, but it'll be on. Kind of like Lord of the Rings or Marvel movies. It's just like something that you can put on during the holidays.
No, Marvel movies have like a plot and a story, and it's all connected. It's totally different in my opinion. I think they wanted to capitalize off of Black Panther. There was like, we see Black royalty, we see Wakanda. Let's capitalize on this because Black Panther only came out like 3 years ago. Coming to America was like in production probably the next year after that.
And I want to talk about something else since you brought up Black Panther and we're talking about Coming to America. Why is it that, you see these movies, you see the Black royalty, you see the beautiful Black skin, the amazing fashions, the high stiff gilets. Why is it that these costume designers, these directors, these cinematographers can get it together and Tyler Perry can't?
He's cheap.
And unseemly. It's so good to see it being done so well, and then he does it so piss poorly. I still have to look at Sisters today, and God, the garments he's got those girls in. Jesus. I mean, it just looks, everything is Gordon Guttrell. Everything is Gordon Guttrell. It's like, what is this scene? What are you doing? Where is the budget? Let them wear their own shit. I've seen their Instagram. The girls can actually dress. You wouldn't know it looking at that show. Oh my, it's one headache after another.
It sounds like me reviewing Basketball Wives.
Oh God, isn't that a punishment this year? While we are on them, we're only gonna be on them for a minute because they ain't worth that. But do you think that they've got the new fembots, as you call them, because they are very robotic, very pretty, but very robotic, very monotone. They give a sedative tea. But do you think that they were brought in to have a legitimate problem with OG? Because like, it's been one day and already they're like, OG's a Badinsky, OG's an ass. The tone, it's her tone, not aggressive, tone. And I'm like, okay, these girls have had several issues with OG in a few hours, and oh, she keeps bringing up Phoebe, she keeps bringing up Phoebe. Production is playing her. Production's telling her, oh, bring up Phoebe, do this, do that, because production tells them to do this stuff so that they can get the scenes done in a day. So then that way, then they tell the girls, okay, you be upset that she keeps bringing up Phoebe and your ex, and that means she's butting in, and this way you have a legitimate problem with her. So that way, the people in the other house that were being colorist are now right in their description, and it's, oh, OG is the problem because now we've got these two brown-skinned girls, and you also can't get along with them.
Well, two things. First, the twin bots, I don't think production is that smart, for one thing. I don't think Shawnee O'Neal is that smart. Secondly, two things can be true at the same time. Like, yes, OG was treated differently. We all saw it. But she can be an asshole at the same time to me. And I think, you know, she was an asshole to the two twins that was in her corner to me, like just from watching it from my perspective. Like I said, two things can be true at the same time. This does not expunge Shawnee and Evelyn from having colorist behavior. In music news, Cardi B has now a diamond single and the only female rapper to have one. She joins the ranks of Lauryn Hill, who has a diamond album, but she's the only female rapper with a diamond single with Bodak Yellow.
Let's see, Michael Jackson has diamond, Mariah Carey has diamond,
Usher.
Lady Gaga, Usher. She's really up there with the greats, not the ain'ts.
Who would have thought?
Atlantic Records thought.
And speaking of Cardi B, you know the E! True Hollywood story we talked about last week?
She's not happy about it. It's unauthorized.
Exactly, but I think the best ones are unauthorized, honestly.
I don't know. I feel like that's when they find people with an axe to grind.
I don't know, because with Wendy Williams, we see what happens when someone has like authority over their image.
It's a hot lie mess.
Exactly. But she says that I love E and I've always been grateful for all the love, but I did not approve of the E! Hollywood story. My life is my story. How can someone tell my story without asking me?
I mean, this is a part of fame. People are going to tell your story. They're going to eat off your story. They're going to live off your story. They're going to monetize your story. And you just have to do it first. You just have to do it better. And I think, too, there'll be a whole bunch of different versions of Cardi B's story out there. And people will want to hear many of them. They'll want to hear your version. They'll want to hear my version.
I mean, she has a chance to, like, you know, make a movie about it. And maybe we could get Phoebe as the actress, because she kind of does look like Cardi B.
Michael.
Well, in other music news, Adele is laughing all the way to the bank. So she has just found out that she will not have to pay spousal support to her ex-husband, and they agreed to joint custody.
Well, That probably means she gave him a nice chunk of change. I mean, they are both like cheap Brits where they don't seem, all about designer clothes. I mean, did you see him? He's a rat looking thing. I don't know why you would have a child with somebody with no top lip. I mean, really, he looks like one of those creatures from Harry Potter that kept turning back into a mouse. I can't remember the name, but
He
ooh,
really
that
does
husband
look
was
like.
ugly. I see why when she lost that weight, she lost him too. She said, look, I had already lost a good 100 pounds. Let's throw 200 on the fire while we at it. I feel like she just gave him a lump sum and it's like, look, here's 50 million. That's it. And then we share custody of the kids so that way you're rich at daddy's house, you're rich at mommy's house. It's a lot cheaper to just not argue. Here's a large sum of money, more than you need. It's easier to be more than fair up front. Don't even fight about it. There's no point. You're Adele. You're gonna make another $100 million the next time you open your mouth. You'll be fine.
You know that you love saying that, like, oh, just pay him off, Mariah Carey. Don't even worry about that. Just pay them off. People like Mary J. Blige and Sherry Shepherd, they weren't so lucky, or Bethany Frankel, which we will get to soon, aren't so lucky with the spousal support.
Well, you see, they were trying to get out of jail free. They were trying to not pay anything. And then also Sherry Shepherd, she special ordered a baby. I mean, she married an ogre and special ordered a baby. We can't fix that kind of stupid. Bethany Frankel, she ended up marrying that thing from American Psycho. And who was the other one? Mary J. Blige, another ogre.
He was her manager at least.
Oh, please. That's what you do when your husband is unemployable. You make him your manager. Look at Wendy.
Oh Lord. Okay, you have a point. And even with Wendy Williams and her spousal support, she had to pay him out. I don't feel like Adele had to formally pay him anything. That was the win for her. In other music news, Versus, turns out that they sold it. So much for us, by us, y'all. But I just remember oh, let's keep Versus in us. They are worried about a check. They do not care about oh, this is for us, by us. So next Versus might be Lady Gaga versus Katy Perry. You never know now.
They say they still have ownership of it, but I would say, you know what, let's go on and get everybody in on it before they say, okay, well, we're not going to call it Versus, we're going to steal it, but call it something else, playlist or something. At least let's get the white people money. Let's get everybody money. Any green money is good money. Let's go on and do Katy Perry and Lady Gaga and let some black people get a slice of their coin. So, because it's going to happen anyway.
So according to Billboard, Versus has been acquired by Triller Network, which is the parent company of the popular video-making social app Triller. As a part of the new deal, Swizz and Timbaland will join the Triller Versus management team to help oversee music and other company strategies. Now, also in that deal, everybody who participated in Versus gets a slice of that. They're a shareholder now. So, Keisha Cole, you got Patti LaBelle, Gladys Knight, Rick Ross, Alicia Keys, Babyface, all of them get a little cut.
Monica sure did need the money, and so did Keisha Cole. I mean, ooh.
Monica didn't need the money.
Well, she left that laid-up basketball player. I think she needs a coin for C. Murder's books.
I mean, I'm sure she's getting child support from Shannon. And I mean, she wasn't pressed for money. I mean, she's not going to turn away a check, but since the family hustle isn't coming back anytime soon, this is a nice little check.
A season shelved.
Not only has Versus been sold, Tidal has been sold too. Yeah, again, for us, by us. So much for that.
No, I would say part of building a business is sell it and build another one. Like, it doesn't mean that Jay-Z is never going to work again and create something else. It's like, okay, I did this, I helped these people. Now I'm going to sell it to Square, and hopefully the app can properly work, because I'm sorry, Tidal was a janky something. I was happy when I heard it. Maybe now it can be something.
Like, between Versus and Tidal, like, if you remember, like, they both started on different principles. Like, with Versus, this was just like free entertainment for everybody, you know? And then it just turned into something like, you know, it turned into like a cash cow, like everything is. And then you remember the whole Tidal thing with that pretentious ass Avengers looking music video they had, like all of them sitting at the table. Like, it just started out, oh, this is for the artists, you know, or this is for the people, you know. But really, at the end of the day, it's for the pockets, you know, it's for a coin. And that was like the main thing. That's what I'm just saying. Not to be cynical.
Okay. Well, can it be both? Can it be we make money and we evolve as a business? And I'm happy to see Tidal still going strong. I think him selling it was the best thing, because the app was janky. Sometimes you realize, hey, I can, you know, we got this started, but I ain't the best to run it.
Well, thank God someone took it, because he was going to take a big ass loss if he would have just held on to it.
Mm-hmm.
But he had to hurry up and get it off his hands. But which is interesting is, so they reported that Jay-Z officially sold the majority stake of his streaming platform to Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey in a $297 million deal. So in that deal, all the co-owners in that Avenger-like videos, they all get 8.9 million front. Like T.I., Alicia Keys, Nicki Minaj, Beyonce, they all get an $8.9 million payout. Go them, I know T.I. needed now.
For the legal fees.
And especially Lil Wayne. So Selena Gomez threatens to retire from music. I'm like, girl, you promise? Promise?
That threat is as empty as her vocals.
I'm like, talk about mediocre. So she says in Vogue magazine, of course they put her mediocre ass in that magazine. And she graces the cover for doing nothing.
Ain't put out nothing, ain't starred in nothing. It's a panorama. I guess all the real stars were booked.
You know how many Black celebrities they could have put on that cover, but they put someone that's not even doing anything?
What?
In the issue that was published online this month, she shared her latest view on music. When speaking with the magazine about her experience in the music industry, she expressed that she may retire. It's hard to keep doing music when people don't necessarily take you seriously.
Why are you to be taken seriously? Where is the serious talent? Where's your serious writing? Like, not only can you not sing, not only can you not dance, but you don't write. So how are we supposed to take something that a few music executives put in a booth and auto-tune to death when they put some papers in front of you and say, can you read this or sound it out?
She's an industry plant. And she's saying like, oh, I've had moments where I've been like, what's the point? Really, girl, I want to know, what is the point? What was the reason? Like, seriously.
You've aged out of the teenage kids bop music that you were making. That's all you made. You made music for high school dances, and now you're too old. So no, we're not taking you seriously. We're not taking your arts and crafts crap seriously.
My shirt just says it all. Just speaks volumes about these people. All right, so I guess we can get to the Meghan Markle, Harry, and Oprah interview. I would love to know your thoughts, because when I watched it, I was like, Oprah is the queen. That was a masterclass interview. I think it's been so long that we actually had like a really good interview, you know? Like, she just knows her shit. Like, I was just like, damn, like, I see why Oprah is great, you know? Like, you have all these other celebrities that have interviews on their terms and they call the shots. Well, Oprah calls the shots on her interviews. And it was just nice to see.
I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised. It made everything make sense. And I think that was the best part about the interview is it was very easy to follow and because it was an intricate story, but she made it easy to follow and everything just made sense. And it was like, oh, okay, it's the lies. All right, it's the gaslighting. Okay, it's Diana 2.0. We get it now. It didn't have to hit you over the head with it, but it was like, oh, okay, there are also people that are low-key running things behind the scenes, but everybody's complicit in the racism. Gotcha.
Right, because I'm like, okay, you saw how they made sure not to talk about the queen? Like, that was strategic.
And fuck that old, wrinkled, racist, naughty pine-faced, incest-born, stupid, glassy-eyed, diabetic, thick, cankle, non-dressing, peppermint breath lavender dragon.
Well,
girl, I hope you choke on your dentures.
You're talking about the Prince Charles, right?
All of them. Prince Charles, the Queen of England, kombucha.
Well, I think you were talking about Prince Philip, but
him too.
Oh, so it just goes for all of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, and fuck balding William. His hair don't even fuck with him. So why should we?
I have a few takeaways from that. So
the queen is complicit in the racism. She allows the racism. She makes room and grace for the racism, which means you are racist yourself. It's like the virus. Once you have it, you have it.
Also, Harry...
Get some antibodies, bitch.
You're calling the Queen of England a bitch right now.
She's a racist bitch. I'm sorry. What else is there to say? What else do you call it? She left an entire country because of a family's racism. You are the head of that family, literally the queen of the country, and you haven't put a stop to it? I think racist bitch is the only appropriate term to use.
Well, in the interview, another takeaway was, when she said about the baby's skin color, someone talked about it, and Harry made sure to say that it wasn't his grandmother, it wasn't his grandfather. So the suspect leaves like his dad, Prince Charles, or, it could be William, but I think it was Prince Charles that said that because they really telling on themselves because after the interview, they're like photographing with Black people now. I also think this interview highlighted a lot of things like race, class, politics, and so people have known her before she was like even a part of that family as an actress.
Child, wasn't nobody watching Suits.
You right.
Wasn't nobody watching that USA show. I could not have picked her out of a lineup.
But whatever you say about Meghan Markle and being a Black woman, she was definitely forced to confront her Blackness too, with like what all was coming at her. Like they was like, okay, you a white passing person in the United States, but over here you Black, So I don't know. I stand with Meghan. Like I'm not gonna try to marginalize her struggle, just like Bethany Frankel did, even before the interview. Like, what clout did she want with that?
I have no idea. Bethany Frankel woke up and had some stupid loops that morning because this was something nobody was thinking about you or your bones, but you have gotten out here and made your failure of a love life your plot line in the press and on a show for a decade. So for you to try to shit on somebody else who also has gone through something with in-laws when you can't keep the fact that you and your husband are still fighting over Bryn out the press, I'm gonna need you to shut up. Take those boulders on your chest and sit in the corner. Go renovate something. Go get up Frederick Elkins' ass.
So this is what she had to say before the interview. So before the interview even aired, she was like, oh, cry me a river. The plight of being a game show host, fairly unknown actress, to suffering in a palace with tiaras and seven-figure weddings for 2 whole years, to being a household name with Oprah on speed dial, fetching $7 million for interviews, hundreds of millions in media deals. The backlash was swift too.
She sounds very, very jealous.
I'm glad when Omarosa read her on her own failed talk show.
About the fact that she can be mediocre simply because she's white.
Right. The privilege was shown, and then she added insult to injury by tweeting, "Oh, I 100% give Harry a break. This isn't the way to generate less press and cannot be filed under the guise of wanting privacy to prevent a repeat of previous events. If you hate me for saying it here, don't listen to my podcast. It's littered with my opinion." So she wanted to hawk her podcast with this.
Girl, you should just pay for an ad drop.
So lastly, after the interview aired, then she gave us her half-assed apology. So she writes, I watched M&H sit down. Emotional distress and racism must feel suffocating and powerless. I'm polarizing, unfiltered, often to a fault, flawed person with a voice. When I heard of the interview during a pandemic, it felt like a surprising choice. I'm sorry if it hurt or offended you.
She needs to get back on Housewives of New York so that she can get the attention that she's craving, since she's clearly not getting it from her men.
Hell, or her child.
Really? Like, don't you have a daughter to raise? You all up in court. I want custody. I need custody. Go get up in her face and get the fuck out of ours.
Right. And stop speaking on shit that don't involve you, especially racism.
Right. It's like you could be talking about houses in the Hamptons right now. They're selling like hotcakes. Talk about that. Talk about what you know.
Exactly.
Talk about being bony.
So I'm not sure why this interview is like leaving people panini pressed, but the next person that was piss poor panini pressed was Piers Morgan. And we already know how he is. Like when Larry King died, he was just like, oh, he still has something to say about this man. I'm like, really? Like a failed journalist on CNN that got fired. So he had so much to say about Meghan Markle, saying he didn't believe her, saying it was like a cry for attention. How dare she talks about the royal family. I'm like, really? He literally like walked off the show. And then it turns out that he no longer works at the show now. Like they let him go over a Meghan Markle interview. I just don't understand that. Was it really worth it? I'm glad that Black woman read him the first morning. That was good.
But good riddance to bad rubbish. And then we've got idiots like, I was going to say not Suze Orman.
Sharon Osborne.
There we go. The chicken looking woman. Because I don't know why she walk around with that red rooster hair, honey. Rihanna left that ages ago and you were always too old for it. Even as a girl, you were too old for it.
She's 78 years old and she tweeted, Piers Morgan, I'm with you. I stand by you. People forget that you're paid for your opinion and that you're just speaking your truth. So she went on to talk that day. And the way she talked to Cheryl Underwood, I just got to commend Cheryl Underwood for responding with such dignity and grace to this privileged white woman who demanded a Black woman explain racism to her. Like she demanded that she explained herself, and she told her,
tell me what he said that was racist. And she was like, okay. The fact that you can't even understand that racism can be nuanced already, I don't want to have a conversation with you because you're being willfully obtuse. But she broke it down and she still couldn't get it. Cheryl just should have taken that wig off like she does in that meme and got to whooping on Sharon. That was time to be like, I ain't even gonna mess this wig up today to get you together.
And like, it's not our job to teach you that. And then what really got me was when she said like, oh, you don't get to cry. I'm the one who deserves to cry. I could not believe she said that on live TV.
And why do you need to be crying? This isn't even about you. It's about Meghan Markle. You are not the queen. You are not related to the queen. You are not in the royal family. Why are you crying? Please, the queen wouldn't even spit on you.
And you see it runs in the family. You remember Kelly Osborne on The View when Rosie Perez was on there and she said that stupid comment?
What did she say? Something about cleaning toilets?
Cleaning toilets? Like, who are you going to get to clean your toilets now, Trump? And like, she said it with like her whole chest out. And Rosie Perez was like, no. no.
Oh God.
Like the maid on Family Guy. No, 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 no.
No.
You know, I like Sharon Osborne too. Like usually, like she doesn't really say stupid shit like that. But you know, white people going white, I guess. No, it's just like just shut up and listen. Like listen to people's experiences. Like I think white people think that racism is just like KKK or blatant like racism. Racism can be very discreet and subtle, and they don't understand that. They really don't. Like I'll tell you my specific story. Oh,
It's lunchtime.
I know. Like my experience was at my job. Like I guess I could tell this story now since I don't really work for them anymore. But I had to sit down with them because I was really angry about the sections they were putting me in because I was like, okay, in this restaurant, there is clearly an implicit bias going on, as well as a lack of diversity. And I'm trying to tell y'all about it. And they tried to gaslight me. And I'm just like, these two white men that sat me down, they offered to put me at a different restaurant. I'm like, that's not the problem. Like, that's not the solution to the problem.
Hire more Black people and give me some good sections.
Exactly. But they were just like, oh, yeah, well, no, we don't have a problem with diversity here. I'm like, I'm telling you my experience as a Black man working in this environment. But, oh, that's a whole other story for another day on Tall Order on my channel. But yeah, like, I just don't get why white people don't get that. Like, just listen. Listen. So, shout out to B. Scott for becoming BET's first trans non-binary host and executive producer. I mean, talk about a full circle moment. Like that is some boss shit. Run their pockets and then like get an executive producer and host credit. I love it. I love it.
I can't wait to see what type of content B. Scott is going to give us on BET. And now BET is finally not hiding from gay people. Finally. And in more roles than the big bone sissy on Sisters, but that's another topic for Tyler time.
Right. So it's going to be the 20s, the after show, and it's executive produced by Lena Waithe and Rishi Rajani under their Hillman Grad Productions banner alongside B. Scott, and also producer Aberlin Abbey Woods, who is the creator of Q the Culture magazine we're a part of. So that's nice. I need to congratulate her.
When I was a kid, I kept my blankie with me. But now that I'm an adult, I keep Best Fiends with me, a top-rated puzzle game that's one of my favorites. With thousands of new levels and a ton of new characters released all the time, you never run out of fun. You don't have to be a hardcore gamer to play this one casually. It's made for adults, but fun for all ages, and it keeps the mind stretched and flexed. My favorite thing about the game is each level you do something different. Whether you're collecting apples, beating slugs, or eating candy canes, there's always something new and fun to do. If you want to play along with me, you can put in code 202-5877. That's 202-5877. And we can blast the slugs together.
What I love about Best Fiends is there's always something new. You know, today, tomorrow, and the day after that. Like literally thousands of levels to play and counting. I mean, I love the cute characters that are available for me to collect. Now, when I'm watching Basketball Wives and then Liza starts talking about her marriage to Lamar, I mute the TV and start playing Best Fiends. So if you never get tired of solving puzzles, good news. With Best Fiends, the fun never ends. So don't blame me if you become slightly obsessed. Now, download Best Fiends free today on the Apple App Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R, Best Fiends.
In other show news, Apollo Nida and Peter Thomas better known as Penelope Thomas Bailey, are flipping houses in Atlanta. I want Todd to get involved. Go on and bring back Carlos King, and let's get the band back together. It can be a show within a show. They're going to do a show about them flipping the houses and then a show about the show of them flipping houses.
You think that would be interesting?
I think that they are characters enough where it would be like the Three Stooges, you know, Todd, Apollo, and Penelope. Bumbling idiots trying to refurbish houses. The comedy would be endless. You could have Nene there, you know, trying to get with Peter.
I can see Nene being a part of it.
I mean, she ain't got nothing else to do. And her name is Mud in the industry.
I can see it on WeTV.
WeTV is starting to win, though. They got the new T.S. Madison show. They've got Love After Lockup, which I tried not to review, but I have to say it's good. And oh, I'm going to tell you something else. You're missing out on Married at First Sight. This season, the Chris and Paige plotline, I'm telling you, you would get a kick out of the stupidity.
I mean, you do like 10 posts a week. I'm already like overwhelmed with like the Housewife franchises, Basketball Wives. I don't know how you do it.
Coffee.
I need to start drinking coffee because I can't do Red Bull anymore. So remember that video of Jen Shah like cursing at somebody like in that rage? So apparently she's sending out cease and desist to everybody posting the video because she said it was illegally acquired. So their lawyer says that
like her cheeks illegally acquired, because I don't think that's regular Botox that's allowed in America. That looks like some smuggled shit.
The cease and desist demanded the video be removed from the blogs and scrubbed from their social accounts. The blogs didn't seem too concerned with the legal threats. One blogger who was sent the cease and desist commented, "Can we talk about how unprofessional this is?" She actually DM'd the cease and desist.
I mean, it's called the Streisand effect. If you want a story to go away, the last thing you do is say, don't post this, take this down. Because everybody's like, oh, wait, what do you not want us to see?
And it's already out there. That's the killer right there. Like, we see that you're crazy.
And we don't care. That's the thing. It's like, this would have been a blip, but now you want to be litigious, and you never want to get litigious with the bloggers because they don't care. Unless you actually gonna go to court and your coin is not that long. You're just going to piss these people off, and now every time something happens with you, they're going to take glee in being nasty.
We also found out who she was talking to. She was talking to the designer and his team who was doing her Watch What Happens live suit with the gold and that little pimp hat she had. He came out to say that he was glad that someone released the footage. He said, it was like the most traumatizing months of my life. He says he doesn't know.
Okay, Agatha.
I love that. Right, he's happy someone reported it though. She did Heather's and Jen's dresses at the reunion. He said that his final straw was that Heather was the one who shouted him out, but Jennifer didn't.
You've got to make sure you get those shout outs in writing, because if you really need that press and promotion, then it needs to be a condition of the deal, or you need to charge them more.
I agree.
But I mean, that tantrum doesn't change our opinion of Jen Shah. Like, we've seen you do that on the show.
Right.
Like, we know you're an ass to your husband.
I don't understand how she made herself the victim.
Because that's what she does, like Teresa.
True.
I think that's a quality they look for when they interview these people for these shows. Can you make yourself a victim? How irrational can you be?
So conservative ankle Stacy Dash apologizes for controversial political takes. That's not who Stacy is now, in quotes. Former Clueless star and Fox News conservative guest Stacy Dash says she's sorry for the divisive comments she made during her time as a political. Oh my God. Now, let's go.
That was beautifully delivered. Conservative ankle.
Before we get to her quotes on this topic, because she was interviewed, how sorry she is, because you are sorry, Heifer. But let's go back in time and see what she said. So in 2015, she claimed then President Barack Obama didn't give a shit about terrorism. She also called for the elimination of Black History Month, BET, and the NAACP Image Awards, and also made transphobic comments during an Entertainment Tonight interview. Also defending former President 45 for very fine people remarks in response to the deadly Charlottesville rally. That's all of it. So her excuse is, get out your tiny violins, everybody. I've lived my life being angry, which is what I was on Fox News. I was the angry conservative Black woman. And at that time in my life, it was who I was. I realized in 2016 that anger is unsustainable and will destroy you. I made a lot of mistakes because of that anger. There are things that I'm sorry for. The things that I did say that I should not have said them in the way I said them. They were arrogant, prideful, and angry.
An angry ankle.
An angry ankle. I mean, karma has really hit her hard. And now that, we have a Democrat in the White House, and she probably can't get any work either.
That's true because, now that it's just pure racism over on Fox News, they're not going to have any token brown faces. And speaking of token brown faces, Candace Owens will be getting a show. So maybe Stacy could get some work with her.
They're both aging terribly. So it is what it is. She said that being a supporter of Trump has put me in some kind of box that I don't belong in. Really?
It's the trash box. And yes, you belong there.
I think the Capitol riots were appalling. When that happened, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm truly done. Is that what it took? Oh my God. She says that she's committed to reviving her acting career, but believes she has been blacklisted by Hollywood.
You've been blacklisted by your lack of talent. Child, you went from Clueless the movie to Clueless the TV show. That should let you know, get a clue. Nobody was looking for you.
And remember that
you were a video hoe at 40. At 40, you were a video hoe. And at 65, you think you're gonna get out here and do something? Don't nobody wanna look at you. The white people that you sucked up to don't want anything to do with you. They never did. Don't think you're gonna come home to nigga.
Jesus Christ. Please leave that in. Please leave it in. Can you please leave that in? Remember she went to Single Ladies too and almost got her ass whooped by Lisa Ray?
And Lisa loved to tell that story.
Love. You can't get her to not say it.
She's like a true auntie with that. It's like we'll be talking about betting or something. Somebody having a new baby. And speaking of new baby, let me tell you about an old bitch.
Right.
I mean, she's like me and Janet.
Yes.
Just for no reason, just bring it up. Oh my God, I guess I'm an auntie too.
Well, you're hitting the auntie age.
Okay, in other great news, Lexi Underwood, Full Fires Everywhere, the young Black lead, she's going to be playing Malia Obama opposite Viola Davis, who will be playing Michelle Obama in the First Lady series coming on Showtime. I cannot wait to see that. That's going to get me to subscribe to Showtime. I mean, Viola Davis, I'm there.
I love Viola Davis, but she's not the only working Black woman in Hollywood. They could have gave that to somebody else. I think they could have gave it.
Who else could have been Michelle Obama, though?
I think Anika Noni Rose. They have other Black actresses. You know how white Hollywood is. They got the one hot Black actress, and they're just gonna put her for everything, even if she don't even fit the bill. At least get someone that's closer in appearance to Michelle Obama too,
Okay, I could see Anika Noni Rose. I had to stop when you said her. I think that she would have also been a great choice. Drew Sidora said Kenya Moore is mad because Hollywood just ain't calling for her. And Drew, as somebody whose phone hasn't rang since the TLC movie, you would understand that.
She did a good ass job in that movie though.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I watched it the other day. And I was like, wow, they really did a good job. This movie didn't get enough recognition as it deserved.
They really could have won something for that. Like they should have been like an Emmy nom, a Golden Globe nom. They did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike Wendy Williams and that boob lady that played her.
Right. But yeah, I mean, no one's calling for Kenya Moore. Definitely not a husband. But you know, I still think Drew has an acting career ahead of her.
Really?
I mean, she's still young. I think she's my age.
That's old for acting. Especially not to have, you know, a solidified resume behind you. I mean, she might get, you know, a part in something Tyler Perry or maybe a little Hulu show. You know, I'm not going to say she's uncastable, except for those outfits that she be having on. Ooh.
I don't know what she was wearing, that orange latex and storm wig.
Naugahyde. It was Naugahyde. I think, honestly, somebody said, you know, every episode you say, Drew, what do you have on? It's becoming a catchphrase now.
I think Giselle still holds the crown for that.
Oh, God. Gee, Drew is definitely coming for her Burger King crown. Drew is coming for it. Drew is like, let me show you what it is to not dress. Because Gabrice, her shit is just, you know, poverty meets lack of taste. But Drew's going above and beyond to look ugly. Her shit is like costuming. Like that was an outfit out of Baps. Like she would have worn that to a Baps audition as an extra in Baps.
I will say in Drew's defense, this is her first season. Giselle was in her fifth. Like at one point, like you start listening to people. Like I'm starting to think Giselle does it on purpose, but after the first season, you can be like, okay, what was I thinking? I looked a hot mess. I'm of course correct on the second season and get me a stylist. Because you know most of those women have stylists.
Giselle has a stylist. Remember when that sissy told her this wig looks like coochie hair? And she said, well, go on and work it out because she couldn't afford a new one.
Well, he's her hairstylist. He's not her like actual like, you know, clothing stylist. I think he just takes care of the neck up.
I mean, maybe he just takes care of the neck, not too much up, just the neck itself.
That's a long neck.
Well, I'll see you sooner than Archie sees his title.
And I'll see you sooner than Sharon Osborne gets a fucking clue.